Well, we have two doctors in the house this morning, so we should be well taken care of. Dr. Clinton, usually here on Tuesday mornings, and a special guest, Dr. Eggerichs, with us. Thank you for joining us, guys. Pleasure.
You bet. This has been fun, and we're getting to that real stuff here. We're going to talk about, Linda, what we debate about every now and then. Women just don't get it. Mm-hmm. And you say the men just don't.
They don't get it. No, clue in.
Hey, and Barry's in the house, so that ought to help out.
Well, he needs to hear this, so.
Emerson, let's go there. What is it that men aren't getting about women?
Well, that crazy cycle again, without love, she reacts without respect he reacts without love. One of the things that men don't always understand is that when women move toward the husband, she will confront to connect. But he interprets that she confronts to control.
So when she's nagging or pushing or being
complaining or ventilating or critical, that nurturing nature, she's trying to resolve things, she's trying to reconcile, she's ultimately trying to increase the feelings of love between them. Why wouldn't she? That's who she is. But she delivers that message in a way that feels negative to him. And we were chatting during the break. Sometimes, we are negative in order to motivate the other person to be positive.
How's that working for you?
So that's why she's nagging all the time.
That's right. But we have to come to that realization, did I marry a good-willed person? Paul says in 1 Corinthians 7:33 and 34, the husband is concerned about how to please his wife, and the wife is concerned about how to please her husband. And we have to make a decision, and those men out there listening need to trust that this woman that you married is not uniquely negative or ventilating. She actually sees you as the Christ figure, she's the church figure, and she places her burdens on you, and she sees your strength, and she moves towards you to connect. When she stops, you've got a problem.
Emerson, there's a verse of Scripture that says, a contentious wife is like constant dripping. In other words, it's pretty brutal to feel like all I get is pounded in my relationship, in my marriage.
Yes.
Because I don't like it.
Yes.
I don't want to be a part of it. What you're reframing here is you're saying, Tim, she's doing that, and we're not excusing it. That's not what we're saying. Mm-hmm. We're saying she's doing this, though, because she's trying to get you to love her.
Mm-hmm. Well, exactly. I mean, there are contemptuous women, and I think on the other side, women have to understand that if you are coming at a man with contempt, and some women will say they have contempt for men, but Jesus never had contempt for any human being. So the Christ follower who is showing contempt toward the spirit of another person has to really step back. So there are contemptuous, contentious women who need to be guarded. But I'm addressing the man right now. Not all negativity is the result of a woman being filled with contempt and contention. She's actually trying to communicate the hurt and that fact that it's a compliment to you that she has a need that only you can meet. And so we have to decode that. Did I marry a good-willed person, or did I marry a Jezebel? And, sometimes people are quick to conclude. There was Peter and Judas both denied Jesus. Mm-hmm. But there's a difference between the spirit of a Judas and the spirit of a Peter. And I say to couples, if you're looking at your spouse as a Judas, when Jesus sees them as a Peter, you're making a huge mistake. And if you're taking snapshots of their behavior rather than seeing the overall movie, you're making a huge mistake. So the challenge always, though, during the crazy cycle moments is to remind ourselves we're allies, not enemies. This is my friend. Even though we're mad at one another and we want to be nasty, I'm not going to view them as a Judas. I'm not going to view her as this contentious, contemptuous woman. And I'm going to trust her heart. So when Sarah, my wife, moves toward me out of a burden and her eyes darken, the face turns sour, the hand on the hip, the scolding finger, the rolling of the eyes, the sigh. And then when estrogen kicks in, the word choice of contempt is right? I mean, it's incredible. But I've got to trust her heart. This is the mother of our children. And she's a good-willed woman, basically concerned about how to please me ultimately, not displease me or show that she's indifferent.
And in a lot of ways, then, what we've got to do is slow this truck, if you will, because it's coming right at us. Mm-hmm. And what it's doing is it's ripping and tearing our relationship. If I see her that way, what then do I do as a man to respond to her?
Well, in the initial moment, it may not be easy. Sarah and I get on the crazy cycle every week because she looks at the world through pink, I look at it through blue. We just see the world differently. Sarah says, I have nothing to wear. What she means is she has nothing new. I say, I have nothing to wear. I mean, I have nothing clean. Right? And so that's an innocent illustration, but we look at things through pink and blue, and we're saying things with different meanings. I mean, a woman and a husband were traveling along, and she was just seeking reassurance how he felt about her, She said, how do you feel about me in the relationship? He said, you're very critical. Well, she was about to jump on him, and then she just read my book, Language of Love and Respect, so she pulled back to clarify what he meant by what he said. And she said, what did you mean by that? He said, well, I've been thinking, with the kids and everything, if you died, I don't know how I would survive. You're very critical to my survival.
Oh.
Whoa. So we have to decode, what does my spouse mean by what they're saying? Why is she negatively coming at me? Because I probably have hurt her. I always say, did I say or do something prior to that felt unloving to Sarah? In the majority of the cases, that can explain it. Why? Because she's a good-willed woman. Now, she may not always see things correctly. I don't see things correctly, but am I going to trust her heart, or am I just going to react to her? I'm sick and tired of this disrespect. Or will I see her as saying, I have a need that only you can meet, and I'm reacting this way because I expect you to decode that.
We're going to come back and talk about what women are not getting about men. You're listening to Emerson Eggerichs, Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. She's the author of the New York Times bestselling book, Love and Respect.
Just over the horizon, a new light is shining. Salvation is on its way.
Uplifting, encouraging, Spirit FM, third day, and lift up your faith.